مبارک 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 یہ دن ہو مبارک مبارک ہو یہ دن، یہ جلسہ ہمارا یہ دن برکتوں کے، خدا کی عنایات اور شفقتوں کے، یہ جلسہ ہمارا یہ دن برکتوں کے، خدا کی عنایات اور شفقتوں کے، یہ جلسہ ہمارا یہ دن ہو مبارک مبارک ہو یہ دن، یہ دن ہو مبارک۔
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم، بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ In the name of Allah, the most gracious, ever merciful, I would like to welcome you all to this second session of the annual convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, which is an interfaith session where all our friends and guests are joining us in this at this occasion. We would like to start this session with the recitation of the Holy Quran, and for that I would like to invite Mr. Atai Rabbi Sahib.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. Translation. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, ever merciful. This messenger of ours believes in that which has been revealed to him from his Lord, and so do the believers. All of them believe in Allah and in His angels and in His books and in His messengers, saying, we make no distinction between any of His messengers. And they say, we hear and we obey. We implore Thy forgiveness, O our Lord, and to Thee is the returning.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, ever merciful. Distinguished speakers, respected guests, and members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for attending this second session of the annual conference. Under divine inspiration, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Muhammad alayhi salam, established the institution of Jalsa Salana, the annual conference. The first conference was held in 1891, At present, this annual conference is being held in many countries around the world. In Malta, this is the second annual conference. Highlighting the importance of this conference, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community said that do not consider this conference to be the same as the likes of any ordinary worldly gathering. Explaining the aims and objectives of this conference, he said, the key purpose of this conference is to enable every sincere individual to personally experience religious benefits, to broaden their knowledge and to deepen their understanding of Allah the Almighty. One of the fundamental objectives of this conference is to build bridges between people and to spread the message of love, hope, and peace. In addition to join in supplications for the well-being of the society and to pray for those souls who have passed away during the year. He says, these meetings will lead to progressive strengthening of a bond of mutual love and affection. Similarly, prayers for the forgiveness of such brothers who have passed away in the interim will be offered, and supplications shall also be made at the threshold of the glorious God that He may unite all these brothers in spirit and remove any element of dryness or hypocrisy from amongst them. This spiritual convention will have many other spiritual benefits which will manifest themselves from time to time. Furthermore, he has prayed for all participants of the annual conference, past, present, and future, in the following words. I pray that may God be with all those who are coming to attend this conference. May God bestow great rewards upon them, show mercy to them, alleviate their states of trouble and tribulations, and remove from them their hardships and sorrows. May He grant them freedom from all afflictions and enable them to attain that which they desire, and raise them up on the day of resurrection amongst those to whom He has shown His mercy and grace, and so that He may be their protector till the end of the journey. Ameen and Ameen once again. May Allah Almighty accept these prayers for each and every one of us, and may He make this event an inspiration of peace and brotherhood. Ameen. Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullah.
Now we would like to have a video recorded message from Her Excellency, the President of Malta. Her Excellency Mary Louise Clorio Preca, President of Malta, was invited to this event. She expressed her wish to attend and deliver an opening address during today's annual convention. However, because of her official duties abroad, she could not attend this convention. However, I am very honored and glad to announce that she was very kind to send us her best wishes and a recorded message for this Jalsa Salana, the annual convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
I am so pleased to share some reflections with you during the Interfaith Session of the second Ahmadiyya Annual Convention being held in Malta. Let me also take this opportunity to commend the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Malta for their commitment to pursue the building of peace through respect. When we respect one another, we are highlighting the values of cooperation and collaboration, which are crucial contributors to build stronger and more inclusive democracies. Promoting interfaith dialogue is essential to achieve this goal. Dialogue ensures the much-needed development for the social, economic, and environmental sectors of our countries. I believe that all faith traditions contribute to our human family, especially for the most vulnerable members of our societies. Religion unites us in this intrinsic commitment to positively contribute to humanity. All of our faith traditions have helped to lift the poor out of precarity, to give food to the hungry, to care for the sick and the suffering, to provide access to education, and to care for strangers in need of support. I am convinced that our communities can achieve so much more when we search for what unites us rather than what divides us. Therefore, I believe that we need to endeavor to promote and conduct interfaith dialogue as a process in our societies. Creating respectful dialogue among diverse people from different faith traditions is an essential component to achieve the sustainable development of our Euro-Mediterranean region and a peaceful and prosperous future for our world. I believe that people of faith have an important role to play to be the protectors of human dignity and the messengers of peace, respect, and love. I augur you a productive interfaith session, and I look forward to exploring the outcomes of your deliberations.
To highlight, the highlight of this event is also that we should promote interfaith dialogue, hope, brotherhood, and peace. And for that, we, as a gesture, we have printed these banners, these badges, with the message of love for all, hatred for none. This is actually the motto of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. And this motto has been printed in red and white colors, with the purpose that Maltese flag has a red and white color, and where we will be giving a message of hope and brotherhood to each and every one of us. Similarly, this is a manifestation and expression of showing great loyalty and love to this island, to this country we live in. So I hope everybody is wearing this badge today, and this manifestation is a wonderful sign of togetherness and peace and brotherhood. We pray that may Allah the Almighty make the entire world a heaven of peace and prosperity. With these words, now I would like to invite our second guest, Honorable Ivan Bartolo, to say a few words. He is Member of Parliament and a very good friend of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
Madam Mayor, President of Ahmadiyya Muslimana and members of this community, Reverend Dr. John Berry, Reverend Kim Hurst, distinguished guests. I would like, first of all, thank the Ahmadiyya community for this invitation. Thank you for what you do in Malta, especially with those in need. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you this message about peace. Peace unites all religion. First of all, I want to reflect about animals. Why do animals seem more peaceful sometimes than human beings? We are trying to create some kind of peace wherever we are, wherever we live, within ourselves. We were there, but sometimes we're not there. Here together, everything is wonderful. We are celebrating peace. We are celebrating love. Although we have different opinions. But here, seems that everything is magical. Tomorrow morning, but back to normal. Tomorrow morning is another day. With limited entity, we're trying to create an unlimited space. But it's not going to work. In the world, there's a lot of things which don't work. Lots of people are interested in great things. Personally, and I think you're with me, I'm not interested in great things. We are interested in great things that work. People claim they're great things, but they don't work for anybody. They are great things because somebody says so. But we are looking for something that works. I'll tell you, for example, now, please create a pleasant experience. Create bliss. Create peace or loving. But it's not on. Because nobody needs to tell you. No one has to determine the experience of your nature. It's an insult when someone is experiencing, for example, a separation, and you tell him, be blissful, be loving, be in peace, be happy. But these words never worked. We are only seeing how to determine the nature of our experiences. If you take charge of what causes experience within you, if you are charge of yourself, I'm sure we will make the 100% pleasant for yourself. If you feel good, those next to you, they're going to feel the same sensation. Unfortunately, in societies, there are people who have talking it among themselves to confuse humanity so badly about their own nature. It's very simple. Whatever the nature of your experience, it's happening within you. You don't need the Imam or the priest or the guru or a politician to tell you this. The nature of your experience, whether it is fear or anger, hatred, ecstasy, everything is happening within you. Everything is in your control. There is no permit you have to apply for it from anywhere, from anyone. We create our own state, and nothing is virtue. Love is not a virtue. Bliss is not a virtue. To be pleasant is not a virtue. Not because you love, you're going to heaven. People do hell out of themselves. If you are an engineer, for example, you produce a good sound. The more you know about love, about prosperity, about bliss, you need but direction. You need help, but that's all. Many people are destroyed because they had no direction. Nothing wrong with them. They are trying to drive their own car without petrol or without oil. If we pay attention, it pays off. And this is our duty, whether you are a member of Ahmadiyya Muslimana, whether you are Catholic, whether you are a priest, whether you're a politician, to give direction. And we are looking for something that works. And we create our own state. And I think, in my opinion, Ahmadiyya Muslimana is doing a great job. I have with, what's his name? The one we went in Brussels with him. Kenneth. With Kenneth. Yeah. I went with Kenneth for, in Belgium, I remember. In Belgium or in London, for a seminar, a symposium of peace. And we know what Ahmadiyya Muslimana do. Thanks once again for inviting me to share this message with you all, especially within the community of Ahmadiyya Muslimana. Thanks.
respectable guest, Mr. Latif, thank you for the invitation. I remember my childhood growing up in my locality, Msida, where there used to be a sense of pride and belonging, and where each and everyone knew each other and can rely on the neighbors for assistance. Throughout the last decades, bold decisions and steps were taken to increase awareness of fundamental human rights, the opening of frontiers and globalization. These were meant to contribute towards freedom of expression, freedom of movement, and a stable global market. Advances in science, technology, and communication have made it easier to travel and easier to migrate. However, today, when I look around, I also recognize how times and people have changed, and there is a degree of misunderstanding between different cultures. This may lead to conflict, barriers between cultures, and even culture shocks. The culture gap may be formed by religion, racial differences, language, and by different social customs. Leaders or representatives of different culture groups may surmount cultural gaps in meetings and may be able to freely communicate as well as to understand each other in processes of dialogue, deliberation, negotiation, and agreement. However, they may also have to face conservative feelings of those who feel little culture change and minimal influence. Leaders and every one of us need to promote respect, toleration, and better efforts of understanding towards each other. And this will ensure the continuity of each and every culture in a different country living together. Malta, for many centuries through occupation, tourism, and immigration, has been in contact with many countries with different cultures, religion, and influences. However, the sense of pride and belonging to such a small but great island has contributed for a peaceful, friendly, stable, and sound country. The Maltese governments throughout the years have removed the barriers and contributed towards the integration of different cultures and encouraged relations through respect and understanding, and this can also contribute to a more prosperous nation. In October, the Ministry for Justice, Culture and Local Government has launched a white paper on local government reform for public consultation. In this reform, it is being suggested an integration officer. Also, local council, especially those like Msida, which is the most locality that have foreigners residing in it, should have a councillor responsible for the integration. This will facilitate process of integration of migrants within our communities to understand our norms and rules of our society. I am convinced that even if cultural barriers can be broken, the culture can still prosper and a bridge can be created to give each and everyone a sense of pride and belonging, where each and everyone knows each other and understand their role in our locality and live in peace and harmony. Thank you.
Honourable Bartolo, Mayor, dear sisters and brothers, it's so nice to be here this afternoon. It is really an honour for me to be here at the annual convention, and I thank Imam Laiq Ahmed Atif for his kind invitation. I shall approach the theme under examination from a Catholic and an interreligious point of view. I shall speak of religion in view of oneself and of being together, togetherness. My first point. At the heart of religion, there is a narrative of a self-transformation. It starts with the realization to be recognized. That's the first thing that Jesus did at the famous encounter, at the famous moment with Nathanael. He surprised him by saying, "I saw you under the fig tree." It is the active recognition of love. Religion helps us change and grow spiritually in a gradual manner. Self-transformation reminds us of an innate and a personal desire for what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. We can speak of a centripetal dimension of religion. One searches at once for self-transformation and for God. Think of Augustine in the 4th century. For instance, he constantly focused his attention on the soul and on God. Religion is learned in the experience of daily life. It revolves around the moment when one says yes to God and to self. that very openness implies a change for the good. One's intellect is under the influence of one's will in a movement of desire. It may be a shy desire for God, but in life one is continuously called to find different wavelengths for one's searching through the sacred text, through poetry, through wonder, through silence and contemplation. By desire, I mean longing to find something different, something more, to be changed by it. Imagination can touch the heart in a way that reason cannot. In Christianity, religion opens oneself to the surprise of recognition and to self-transformation. It is primarily a force for good on a personal and an existential level. Religion, however, has also a centrifugal dimension, and this brings me to the second point. The best example of a force for good is interreligious dialogue, and that is par excellence, which in turn inspires society to foster a culture of peace, encounter, and dialogue in every day. Interreligious dialogue seeks to build bridges among faiths. It seeks to recognize that in the splendor of the human heart, across every culture and time, woman and man seek to discern and understand the transcendent and how it can be a blessing and a grace for them in their own lives of the human community. Interreligious dialogue recognizes that in the deepest level of the human heart, we are called to be with one another, searchers in this world for the most important questions, human questions that confront us, the question of who we are, of why we are here in this world, and ultimately, what is our destiny as woman and man, living here and beyond this life here on this earth. It acknowledged that while we are faithful to our own religious traditions, in dialogue and in faithfulness, we can discover the richness of other faiths, other religions, and that religions bind us together in our respect and reverence for every man and woman who have been created on this earth. Interreligious dialogue is the recognition that the human family is bound together not merely by common needs or common traumas, tragedies, but much more fundamentally by a common understanding of the sacred dignity of each human being, which is rooted in the transcendent one. What is good in interreligious dialogue then starts with the evident traces of an insatiable thirst to bow down spiritually before the mystery that surrounds life throughout the world. We see it around us, in church, in a mosque, in a Passover celebration, in a Buddhist temple, and in a Hindu Diwali festival. A mysterious sense of the absolute, the transcended, urges us to reach out beyond all that is around us, excavate deep within us, and above all, make some form of declaration with the whole of our being that we want to be in harmony with God, within ourselves, and with others. If we truly want to discover religion as a force for good, then we need to get beyond mere reason, mere logic, and mere moralism. Our quest descends into something deeper, a deeper level of who and where we all are. Yes, religion is a force for good in view of its sincere effort to guide people to journeying together in a shared responsibility to constantly propose trust, peace, and love as core values of humanity. Thank you very much.
Can I say, standing here is even more frightening than standing in front of my congregation. But I am absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for this invitation. It means such a lot to me. It also reflects that here in Malta there is a recognition of religious difference and yet a deep respect for the leaders and the peoples of different religions. Our leaders are friends, and that says a lot for the future of the people of Malta. I also want to thank you for the opportunity to share just a little this afternoon about the importance of inter-religious harmony. In its resolution, the General Assembly of the UN points out that mutual understanding and inter-religious dialogue constitute important dimensions of a culture of peace. It wrote this when establishing Interfaith Harmony Week in 2011. Interfaith Harmony Week is commemorated all over the world during the first week in February as a way to promote harmony between all people, regardless of faith or religion. All the great world religions speak of a God of peace and a God of love. They all teach their followers to live in peace with God and with each other. At a recent interfaith meeting held by the President of Malta, your Imam spoke of the importance of loving Allah and loving your neighbour. That for me was a very powerful moment, because all of the religious leaders present nodded, as we agreed that this was indeed central to what we all believed and what all of our sacred scriptures taught. Terrorism and war happen when people who call themselves Christians do not listen to or follow the teaching of Christ. When people who call themselves Muslims do not listen to or follow the teaching of Muhammad. Peace and harmony is dependent upon education, educating our people in their own religions, educating our people in what their prophets, what their teachers tell us, and also educating our people in the other great religions. If we follow these teachings, we will all love God and we will all love and respect others. Our projects at St Andrews reflect that. Blue Door English classes, Malta Microfinance, the Food Bank, all people are treated with respect and dignity, irrespective of their nationality, their gender or their religion. If we can all follow that example, then the country in which we live, and indeed the world, would be a better, safer and happier place. I commit myself here before you to always treating your leaders and people with respect and dignity. If we all do the same, then interreligious harmony won't be something we talk about. Interreligious harmony will be what we live, what is a living reality in our lives and in our hearts. Thank you for inviting me to speak, and thank you for listening to me.
Auz billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, ever merciful. Respected and distinguished speakers, esteemed guests, and members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace, blessings, and mercy of Allah the Almighty be upon us all. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for attending this Jalsa Salana, the annual convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Malta. The contemporary times we live in pose huge challenges for the peaceful and harmonious coexistence of people of different religious, political, and national backgrounds. The world stands in great need of peace, tolerance, mutual understanding, harmony, love, and brotherhood. The world needs an end to wars and conflicts. Instead of walls of hatred being erected, we need peace to prevail, and for this to transpire and to make this dream comes true, people of all faiths, creeds, colors, and political affiliations must join together. I firmly believe that religion is a very positive force for the reformation and well-being of a society. Thus, at this critical juncture, there is a deep urgency for religions to make a genuine effort to remove misunderstanding between them. I believe that Islam can deliver the goods with distinction in a manner that can fully satisfy our demands and requirements. To lay the foundation of interfaith harmony, the Holy Quran declares that all the human beings, whatever their color, race, or geographic denomination, are all creatures of the same Creator. As such, they are equally entitled to receive divine guidance. Islam does not claim monopoly over God, but it states that the Creator is a Rabbul Alameen, meaning the Lord of all the worlds. So it is the universal God, not God of a group of people or a tribe or a nation. In addition, the Prophet of Islam has been declared by God as a mercy for the entire humanity. Furthermore, the Holy Quran declares the universality of prophethood and says, "We did raise among every people a messenger with the teaching, worship Allah and shun the evil one. We indeed sent messengers before thee," meaning before Prophet Muhammad. "We indeed sent messengers before thee. Of them are some whom we have mentioned to thee, and of them are some we have not mentioned to thee." The Holy Quran further reminds the Holy Prophet of Islam and states, "Thou art but a warner. Verily, we have sent thee with the truth as a bearer of glad tidings and as a warner. And there is no people to whom a warner has not been sent." Meaning to all the nations, all the people, God has revealed His message. He has sent His messengers and prophets from time to time. The Holy Quran also declares that all prophets and messengers are equal. The verse which has been recited earlier at the beginning of this session, that clearly states that all the prophets are equal and there is no distinction between them. No one has a right to discriminate between one prophet and another. Islam is the only religion which accepts the founders of all revealed religions as messengers of God and makes it incumbent upon its followers to believe in all of them. Belief in all prophets, messengers, therefore, is a fundamental article of faith in Islam. This is the most practical step Islam has taken towards creating an atmosphere of peace and goodwill among the followers of various faiths. This attitude of Islam towards other religions and their founders can work as a very important uniting and cementing factor between various religions. The principle can be exercised as a very powerful unifying force, bringing various religions together. This transformed the attitude of hostility towards the revelation of prophets of other religions to that of respect and reverence. Respecting religious sentiments is another invaluable lesson taught to us by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace be on him, as a means to fostering interfaith reconciliation. Once, during his lifetime, a Muslim and a Jew were involved in an argument. Both claimed and counterclaimed the relative superiority of their respective prophets. It appears the Muslim contender may have made his claim in a manner which wounded the sentiments of the Jew as he approached the Holy Prophet Muhammad and lodged a complaint against the Muslim. Upon hearing the complaint, the Prophet admonished against being unmindful of the sentiments of others and said, "Do not exalt me above Moses." This is despite the fact that the Quran declares him superior to all. Such were the high standards of decency and courtesy of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, required of his followers even in the throes of a heated theological debate. Once when a funeral procession went by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, he stood up to show dignity and respect, and those accompanying him followed his example. Someone pointed out that it was the funeral of a Jew. He replied, "Do you not think the Jews too are human beings and deserve respect and dignity?" In the Battle of Haider, Muslims found several copies of Torah. The Jews came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, and demanded the copies of their sacred book. Upon the order of the Prophet, Muslims returned all the copies of the Torah to Jews as a gesture of respect and religious reconciliation. This is an excellent example of religious harmony showed by the Prophet of Islam and his companions. This incident also indicated the respect Muslims have towards the holy books given to the previous prophets and messengers of God. And as my previous speakers before me, they have pointed out that it is not the teachings of different religions. It is we as a human being sometimes deviate and create problems. The teachings are so wonderful that if we abide by, if we practice those teachings, the world would become a haven of peace. Let me also present to you a shining example of tremendous religious sensitivity of Hazrat Umar, the second Caliph of Islam. When he visited Jerusalem, he was shown the great church and was offered a place to pray in it. But he refused. He knew that if he had prayed in the church, it would set a precedent that would lead to the building's transformation into a mosque. He wanted the Christians to have their freedom of religion and their worship places safeguarded. Therefore, he instead prayed on the steps outside, allowing the church to remain a Christian holy place. Islam presents the freedom of religion and faith as a foundation stone of interfaith peace, and declaring that there should be no compulsion in religion. Islam does not permit the use of force as an instrument for the spread of its message, because swords can win territories but not hearts. Force can bend heads but not minds. The Charter of Freedom, with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, granted to Saint Catherine's monastery in Mount Sinai in 628, is perhaps the best illustration of his desire for interreligious peace. This monumental document is unprecedented in the history of mankind. In this document, he guaranteed their religious freedom, security of their people and their religious leaders, and their places of worship. And he said that bishops and priests will not be expelled from their places of worship. None of their churches or other places of worship will be destroyed or demolished. Every help shall be given to them in the repair of their churches. So this is what Islam teaches us, because many times people ask me that why don't some Muslim countries allow churches to be built in their countries? So I always reply that it is fault of those countries, not of Islam. Even the Holy Prophet of Islam, he never denied Christians and Jews to have their places of worship. So if a Muslim country denies that right to anyone, it means they are absolutely working contrary to the teachings of Islam. This important historical document affirms the Holy Prophet Muhammad's sincerity and leaves no room for doubting his disposition to interreligious peace and harmony. After the Prophet Muhammad's demise, non-Muslim inhabitants of the fast expanding Islamic empire enjoyed the same dignified treatment. When Umar, the second caliph of Islam, entered into pact with all the inhabitants of the city of Jerusalem by declaring, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most beneficent." This is a covenant of peace granted by the slave of Allah, the commander of the faithful Umar, to the people of Jerusalem. They are granted protection for their lives, their property, their churches, and their crosses. In whatever condition they are, all of them are granted the same protection. No one will dwell in their churches, nor will they be destroyed, and nothing will be reduced of their belongings. Nothing shall be taken from their crosses or their property. There will be no compulsion on them regarding their religion, nor will any of them be troubled. Few years back, there was an issue of can the crosses be hanged in classes or not. So this was an international news, and people were debating and had many discussions on that topic. I personally wrote an article here in Malta and expressed that religious symbols of every religion, they have every right to display wherever they want. So there should be no compulsion. If religion says no compulsion, then why some countries and unfortunately some Muslim countries, they are forcing their ideas and their ideology on others? Moreover, the Holy Quran invites other religions to unite on common grounds and states. Say, O people of the book, come to a word equal between us and you, that we worship none but Allah, and that we associate no partner with Him, and that some of us take no others for lords beside Allah. The significance of this verse is to emphasize the point of commonality and to chalk a mutual program for the benefit of mankind, rather than to highlight the areas of differences resulting in discord. So Islam always promotes that we should unite on common grounds. There's no need to build walls of hatred. Let us build bridges of love, hope, and peace. Another principle for the establishment of interreligious peace is the observance of fairness and justice. Islam champions this principle by declaring that, O ye who believe, be steadfast in the cause of Allah, bearing witness in equity, and let not a people's enmity incite you to act otherwise than with justice. Be always just, that is nearer to righteousness. Another fundamental principle of establishing interfaith harmony is accepting invitations and becoming more sociable with people of different faiths. And today's event, I think, is a massive demonstration of that kind of principle, that together we are all sitting together, people of different religious backgrounds, colors, creed. So I think here we are all one. So there's no difference, and under the banner of our lovely country, Malta, we are united in diversity. Another fundamental principle of establishing interfaith harmony is accepting invitations and becoming more sociable with people of different faiths. The Holy Quran says, "This day all good things have been made lawful for you, and the food of the people of the book," meaning Jews and Christians, "is lawful for you, and your food is lawful for them." The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, led by example in this matter. Once a Jew lady invited him for food, and he accepted her invitation. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, has declared hospitality as a sign of faith. And he himself showed us excellent examples of hospitality and of honoring the guests. Once a Jew stayed as a guest of the Holy Prophet. Due to an upset stomach, he soiled the bedding provided by the Prophet. Feeling embarrassed, he left very early next morning. In his haste, he forgot his sword behind. When he realized, he returned, and he saw that the Prophet himself was washing the soiled bedding. It is reported that once a non-Muslim stranger stayed with the Prophet as a guest. The Prophet milked one of his goats and offered the milk to the guest. But the guest was not satisfied. The Prophet offered him the milk of a second goat, but the guest was still not satisfied. In fact, he drank the milk of as many as 7 goats, and the Prophet kept on providing him the milk according to his needs. Ladies and gentlemen, Islam highly promotes interreligious cooperation as another golden principle of promoting interreligious concord and peace. In interreligious relationships, Islam goes one step further by declaring, "And let not the enmity of a people that they hindered you from access to the sacred mass incite you to treat them with iniquity. Instead, help each other in good things of life and in all such things as are based on the fear of God. Do not, however, help one another in the sinful things and transgression." And here again I would like to draw your attention to the happenings in some of the countries. And if I quote a particular example of ISIS, how they are destroying the peace of the world and their societies, that is absolutely has nothing to do with Islam. And Islam says that you help each other in good things, not in sinful things. That if you find something bad is happening, it's the duty of a Muslim to try to arrange that problem and mistake. The Holy Quran further states, "Allah forbids you not, respecting those who have not fought against you on account of your religion, and who have not driven you out of your homes, that you be kind to them and deal equitably with them. Surely Allah loves those who are equitable." Once, while sitting with his companions, the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, said, "Faith is another name of compassion." The listeners asked him, "To whom should we be compassionate?" He replied, "Be compassionate to Allah, His book, His messenger, Muslims, and all the mankind without any discrimination and without any distinction." The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, with his beautiful and comprehensive teachings, performed the greatest service to mankind and established the sanctity of human life, honor, and property. And in his last sermon, he declared that the lives, properties, and honor of every single human being is sacred. And whoever violates this instruction, he will be violating the guidance and teachings of Allah the Almighty. He used to say that a Muslim is the one from whose hand and tongue other peace-loving people are safe and secure. He says, "Allah loves those people the most who are the most beneficent to others. Human society is a collection of individuals, and it cannot flourish without mutual relationship and interaction. If every individual learns the art of friendship and courtesy towards the people living near him, no trouble or mischief would raise its ugly head, and the world would become a haven of peace. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, showed kindness and courtesy to everyone who came into contact with him. He always fulfilled his duties towards his neighbors. He used to say that a person's goodness or evil can be judged from the manner in which he treats his neighbors. If your neighbors say that you are a good person, then you are really a good person. And if they say you are bad, then you are certainly a bad person. He further said, in the sight of Allah, those neighbors are the best who behave towards their neighbors in a goodly manner. A companion of the Prophet Muhammad relates that the Holy Prophet Muhammad advised him to add some more water to his curry and send it to his neighbor as a gift. So he instructed that if a person cannot afford, so whatever you have, just add little more water so you can also offer to your neighbor. He went to such an extent to educate his people for the rights of neighbors and the community. As pleasant interaction between individuals guarantee the peace and security of a society, similarly, loving relationship of one family with another family unites the neighborhood. In this respect, the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad has extended the sphere of neighbor. He said that the right of neighborhood extends to 40 households. If the world just learns the obligations of neighborhood and practices these teachings, an individual looks after his companion, and every household discharges the duties towards its neighbors, every part of the town becomes considerate towards the other part of the town. A country becomes mindful of the rights of the neighboring country. The world would become a haven of peace, harmony, and compassion. He taught that the kind treatment to the neighbor should be above the difference in caste, creed, color, or religion. These are the traits of a pure society which the Prophet Muhammad wanted to establish in the individuals and in the homes. Our aim should be to create such a society. The motto of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, love for all, hatred for none, which is the essence of the entire Islamic teachings, is a catalyst and a beacon of hope for the establishment of lasting and effective interreligious harmony and peace. An effort for highlighting this unique message of love, compassion, and respect, all the participants of this annual convention are wearing the badges with the message of love for all, hatred for none. This is a wonderful manifestation of harmony, unity, peace, brotherhood, and loyalty to our country, Malta. This is my ardent wish and prayer that may peace prevail on earth and the world becomes a haven of peace and prosperity, and may we all cherish the fruits of interreligious peace and harmony. Finally, I would like to once again express my gratitude to all of you from the depths of my heart, who by coming here have demonstrated their love, affection, and brotherhood. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Many things were new to me. This this peace and this harmony which is possible. I will spread the word all over Malta. I'm working a lot in social care, but it never occurred to me how this peace can be brought about by socializing with different religions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Atif, for the invitation. Grazzi il-kulħadd li attenda għal din il-konvenzjoni hija l-ewwel darba għalija imma mhux tal-aħħar. Rajt ħafna nies li nafu ħafna nies li ma nafx. Oġobni ħafna l-ispeech tas-Sinjur illi ħadd ukoll xi noti minnhom li ħanożhom anke fil-kitbiet tiegħi fir-write-ups li nagħmel għal nies taż-Żurriq. Nirringrazzjakom u nittama illi daw l-affarijiet li ntqalu fuq dal-podium iseħħu minn ta' kuljum għal ġid ta' kulħadd. Paċi li kulħadd, grazzi.
Mr. Atif, thanks a lot for inviting me for the second time and welcome all for this convention. It's always fun for me to attend these things and to see the unity. Mr. Atif and Gżira, we have a very good relationship. He helps us, he helps the school with some projects that we did together. And obviously, I always welcome Mr. Atif and people like him to help the community. At the end of the day, we have to live together. This is our new situation with all the nations that have joined Malta. So I think that by helping each other and living together makes our life and their life easier for all the good. Thanks a lot and thank you.
This is also our tradition that we end our gatherings with a silent prayer. So please, you may join us as you feel comfortable in the silent prayer. So this bond of friendship strengthens, and this message of peace and brotherhood, it goes across the community, across the country, and to the entire world indeed. Please join me in the silent prayer.